Hello, today we will discuss chemical reactions. First, let's start off by saying what's a chemical reaction. Basically, a chemical reaction is a combination or rearrangement of two or more substances known as reactants to give off one or more product. In the example above, you can see sodium reacting with chlorine to give off sodium chloride, and this is an example of chemical reaction. Next, we will discuss signs of a chemical reaction. First, let's start off by saying physical change. Physical change is basically the change in the physical state of the reactants. One example of physical change is the change of carbon, which is solid, into a gas by reacting with oxygen, and this reaction will form carbon dioxide. Second is rusting. As you can see in the image above, iron has rusted due to reacting with oxygen, forming iron 3 oxide. And rusting basically results from the reacting of a metal with oxygen. Next is formation of precipitates and gas. First, let's say precipitates. Precipitates are insoluble materials that are formed due to a chemical reaction. In the image above, you can see a precipitate. Second is gas. Gases are formed from chemical reactions, and normally they will evolve. In the image above, you can see carbon dioxide resulting due to the reacting of vinegar with baking soda. Next is the emitting of light. Emitting of light normally results from combustion. And finally, the change in odor or taste. Okay, so you can't rely on the change of odor and taste because some substances can be toxic. Yet they are still considered types of chemical change or signs. A well-known example for this is rotting. When food rots, it will change in odor and in taste. Next is the types of chemical reactions. First is synthesis. Synthesis is basically when one substance reacts with other, and one example for this is when potassium reacts with fluorine to form potassium fluoride. Next is decomposition. Decomposition is the breakdown of a substance into two atoms. And one example for this is the breakdown of carbon dioxide into carbon and oxygen atoms. Next is single replacement. Next is replacement. Replacement has two types, single and double replacements. First, let's start off by saying what's single replacement. Single replacement, it is when one element switches with another. One example is the reaction of potassium and sodium chloride to form potassium chloride and sodium. And this example, sodium switch places with potassium due to the reacting. Double replacement, it is when two elements switch places with each other. One example is the reacting of hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide to form water H2O and sodium chloride. Now let's make it more fun. The following are some examples of chemical reactions that you would like to watch. First is elephant toothpaste. Elephant toothpaste is the result of the reaction between hydrogen peroxide and potassium iodide. Another is termite and dry ice. The fire above has resulted from the reacting of termite and dry ice. Termite allows dry ice to melt to liquid faster, and later metals in the termite react with water faster than oxygen, which allows more energy to be released. And last is the black fire snake. The black fire snake results from heating baking soda to form carbon dioxide gas.